Fortunately alikuwa anauzia mask pale EBN TV. Fortunately askari akakuja akaanza walitia gas canisters ndio zilikuwa zinalia. So akiuza mask pale, askari akamkujia akampiga makofi. After that akainua mikono. Baada ya kuinua mkono ndio askari aliweza kumshoot na akaweza kuanguka. So from there aliletwa hapa Kenyatta.
Lakini nimefika hapa na nimezuiliwa kuingia kule, lakini sio kitu kwangu, sio kitu muhimu. Lazima nimuone kwa macho, ni kuhakikishwa kwamba ako hai. Mimi nimetosheka, na kama vile wamesema hawataki niingie kule, sitaingia kule. Nitasema tu tuzidi kumuombea Mungu ili hao madaktari ambao wanamshughulikia waweze kuokoa maisha yake.
You know, even as that happened, yesterday in Thika, there is a police officer who was shot dead by thugs. They shot him, and it's very unfortunate that on social media I've seen, you know, there is reported people who are celebrating over the shooting of the police officer. It is a sad situation. We don't want to go that direction, trust me. We don't want to go that direction. There is a group of just a few police officers who are wrong, who basically don't, you know, they're not acting out their training. And so we should not condemn and start rejoicing when police officers are shot, because you're going to need those police officers. If we allow lawlessness to start taking root, oh my goodness, because they will turn on the police, and who do you think they will turn to next after they're done with the police? Don't celebrate. Kenyatta National Hospital confirmed that Boniface Kariuki, the gentleman who was shot by the police on Tuesday during the protest, remains in critical condition. Addressing the media yesterday, the KNH Chief Executive Officer William Sigelai said that the Kariuki was referred to the hospital from the clinic within the CBD after sustaining a severe head injury from a gunshot. He said the hospital's emergency team, led by Dr. Janet Sugut, stabilized the patient and placed him on life support. He added that a CT scan of the brain confirmed that a bullet had struck the left side of his head.
Huyu mwathiriwa ambaye yuko katika wadi yetu ya wagonjwa mahututi, ukweli ni kwamba alifikishwa akiwa katika hali mahututi kama nilivyoguzia wakati nimesoma taarifa yangu, na ameshafanyiwa upasuaji na iko katika hali sasa hivi ambayo ni afadhali kuliko jinsi alipofika. Inawezekana kwamba kuna picha mtandaoni. Ni sera yetu kwamba wagonjwa wasipigwe picha na picha hizo kusambazwa mitandaoni bila idhini yao. Inawezekana kwamba watu wasiozingatia maadili hayo waweza kufanya hivyo kisiri na kusambaza hizo picha bila idhini ya hospitali. Kwa sasa hivi tuko katika harakati za kumtambua kwa majina yake. Jambo chanya ni kwamba baba yake yuko nasi asubuhi, tangu asubuhi. Amemtambulisha kwa jina fulani, lakini bado tunangojea udhibitisho, kwa sababu sera yetu ya hospitali ni kwamba lazima tuwe na uhakika kabla ya kuyataja majina yake. Kwa hivyo tunatumai kwamba kwa muda mchache ujao tutaweza kumtambua kwa majina yake kamili. Lakini tunafurahi kwamba kuna watu wamejitokeza wakisema kwamba ni jamii yake. Kwamba jeraha alilopata kutokana na kifaa hicho ambacho tunashuku kuwa ama tunadhani ni risasi, iliweza kusababisha uharibifu wa mfupa wa ubongo, mfupa wa kichwa, alafu pia kukawa na jeraha katika ubongo wake kwa kiasi fulani. Ndio hivyo naweza kusema kwa sasa.
Well, the hospital confirmed that it received 16 patients injured during the Tuesday's protest for Juang in Nairobi, including the 22-year-old face mask vendor shot in the head. and remains in critical condition in intensive care. The protest was sparked by the death of the blogger who was arrested in Homa Bay over alleged defamatory posts against Deputy Inspector General Police Eliud Lagat. Well, that was a statement from the hospital. At the same time, Kenyans have expressed outrage over the shooting of the 22-year-old that basically became a trending video on social media and was viewed so many times across the mainstream media and social media, garnering nationwide attention, with the netizens now demanding the arrest and prosecution of the officers involved in the shooting of the innocent civilian. The officers were actually arrested yesterday, and we believe they will be arraigned today.
Huzuni sana kutoka jana usiku, ni kama tulijua ni itatufikia kifamilia vile imetufikia, sababu hata mimi niliona kwa matangazo ya jana jioni na nikaona askari vile alimpiga risasi. Sisi kama familia tuna huzuni sana na tumeletewa shida ingine hatukuwa nayo.
Nimepigwa na mtoto wangu leo asubuhi. Akaniambia Boni ako ICU. Amekutana na askari wakamkuta ako kazi yake. Sasa mnisaidie. Sina mtoto mwingine kijana, ni wao tu, ni huyo tu. Sasa
Boniface alikuwa misisi ya hii familia, na saa hii Boniface ameharibiwa kichwa. Hatujui itakuwa namna gani, tunangojea tu Mungu. Lakini tunaomba serikali waangalie mambo ya huyu kijana yetu.
Askari alifikia aje kufikiria kumpiga risasi? Juu he was not armed. Hata sikuona in confrontation. Jamaa alikuwa amesimama tu, alafu all of a sudden amepigwa risasi. Kwa hivyo kitu tungeomba ni ya kwamba first of all, katika hali ya maandamano ni vizuri sisi kama wananchi enyewe tuelewa ni binadamu. Lakini askari naye tungewaambia at least wakuwe binadamu.
Meanwhile, the National Police has disclosed the identities of the two police officers arrested in connection with the shooting of Boniface. In a statement, the National Police Service confirmed the officers' names as Constable Clinzy Baranza Masinde, and they give his number, and Police Constable Duncan Kiprono. The National Police Service extended sympathy to the family of the victim and assured the public of its commitment to accountability. Their lawyers, however, defended them, saying the accusations of the defendants using live bullets are false, but instead, what was used was a rubber bullet.
Had shotguns and rubber bullets. So there is no single police officer who was armed with any live bullet. So if there were any shots that were fired, then those were from the rubber bullets, not the live bullets. We are not saying that our clients were involved, but they are allegations.
Well, the Law Society of Kenya has now demanded the public release of the identity and the pictures, and this has already been done, of the service number of the police officer who shot a protester, insisting that accountability must begin with naming and prosecuting the individuals involved. While the National Police Service claimed officer responsible has been arrested, the LSK faulted the services for failing to name the officer and share any concrete details of disciplinary or criminal proceedings. LSK President Faith Odhiambo criticized the police for using what she termed a vague and inadequate statement, warning that impunity within the service is eroding public trust.
Recent attacks by these police supervised goons were well orchestrated, and the intention was to steal valuables from members of the public, loot shops, and grievously harm peaceful protesters. This is an anarchy, an act of impunity that goons can be deployed as a tool for repression against people expressing their democratic and constitutional rights. The police, instead of upholding law and order, watched on and even participated in the thuggery. We have seen images of police officers looting and making away with laptops from shops broken in by the goons. Sadly, those whom the people of Kenya have entrusted to protect their lives and property are at the heart of undermining the safety and security of Kenyans. Against the backdrop of recent acts of disproportionate violence perpetrated by the police over the recent months, the complicity and acquiescence of the police amid runway crimes against peaceful protesters and onlookers alike discloses a worrying trend of our National Police Service being reduced to a conduit of violent crimes. Should this trend be allowed to continue, the relationship between the public and the police faces the risk of damage beyond repair. That cannot become our reality as a nation. The general chaos that characterized the demonstration resulted into about 17 being reported casualties around the country. In Nairobi, an armed officer was filmed shooting at an unarmed hawker at point-blank range, leaving him for dead despite his non-involvement in the protests. The victim was rushed to Kenyatta National Hospital and is reportedly in a critical condition. We pray for his full recovery and look forward to positive updates from the hospital. I've had the privilege of meeting his father, Mr. John Karaoke, this afternoon, and he confirmed that he had seen his son on ICU tubes, but he's still concerned with the treatment and information being given at Kenyatta National Hospital. He's concerned about the hostility that he's received, irrespective of wanting to know the status of his son and how the treatment was ongoing. And his plea to the president of this country is not even selfishly for his own son. He cries out, raising concern that this is just his son who was shot, but what about the many other sons who will continue to be shot and maimed? And he seeks for justice, that this individual police officer be arrested and indicted and prosecuted before a court of law. And
you know, the kind of things that are happening in the country are basically getting quite a number of people concerned. I mean, the shootings that are going on. I just told you that yesterday in Thika town, there's a gentleman, a police officer from SPIF. Now, SPIF is a special unit within the administration police. And the guy was shot yesterday using his own gun. And on social media, people kind of like started celebrating, which is very unfortunate, because the man who was shot is somebody's father, is somebody's son, is somebody's brother. You know what I'm saying? You don't celebrate. And in fact, the judiciary is now expressing concern over the rising threat to the rule of law, citing increasing cases of police brutality and violence during recent protests. In a statement, the judiciary spokesperson, Paul Ndemo, conveyed its condolence to the family of Albert Ojwang and wished a quick recovery to those injured in the recent demonstration. The judiciary raised alarm over what it termed as unjustified police force and infiltration of peace by peaceful protests by violent individuals. It noted that this action threatened public safety and the right to assemble peacefully. Ndemo noted that the National Police Service has a legal and constitutional duty to identify and prosecute those responsible for violence, including those who sponsor or organize such acts. While acknowledging that some of these cases are already before the courts, the judiciary assured the public that justice will be served. This as the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, called on the youth and Kenyans at large to embrace peace and unity during this period, a time when the country is dealing with demonstrations over the killing of Albert Ojwang. Speaking during an event marking the International Day of Combating Hate Speech, NCIC Commissioner Danvas Makori compared the current situation in Kenya to the 2007 polls and post-election violence as a wake-up call to Kenyans to end incitement and hate speech. He warned political leaders who are provoking Kenyans to turn on each other.
These politicians are taking us back to where we've come from. Yeah, the last election cycle, it was about issues. Group A and Group B, they all say we'll do this for our country and this was for our country. It was not along ethnic lines. But now we are seeing people taking us back to where we've come from. Mobilization along ethnic. Just a few of them. It's always a handful who want to push the boundaries, who want to break the law. We've summoned them. One did not honor their summons, and soon enough they'll be handled within the context of the law. The action, if you don't honor our summons, we are just like the High Court. Our arrest warrants are issued. It's simple as that. You'll be arrested and taken to court.
Sawa sawa. Now let's find out what the president was up to yesterday. He hosted political leaders from Kisumu County, led by Governor Anyang' Nyong'o at State House, Nairobi. The meeting, the latest in a series of engagement at the House on the Hill, targeting political leaders from the Luo Nyanza region. It comes just days after Ruto met Siaya County governor leaders led by the Governor James Orengo. The State House meeting is widely seen as part of his efforts to pacify the Luo Nyanza region and consolidate political support ahead of the 2027 general election. Following his fallout with the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, the president appears to have lost favor in the Mount Kenya region, which had been crucial to his 2022 victory. This has prompted a shift in focus to former Prime Minister Raila Odinga's traditional support base.
Thank you very much for also agreeing to the coming together of both Baba and myself so that we can form the broad-based government. And just so that you have the right context, the broad-based government is neither a creation of Baba or myself. It is God-sent. I say that because it is what is necessary for us to have the political goodwill.
Bwana President, see us with 2 eyes, and we shall see you with 3 eyes. If you are closer to Raila, we shall be very close to you.
This is one of the counties that was left out and was branded as a non-shareholding county in Kenya. We were a people who were left out as non-shareholding people of Kenya. But guess what? You brought us into the fold. Look at the number of appointments you've given to this county. Apart from that, Your Excellency, in my own constituency, which is part of this county, you picked one able lady.
Political competition is about development. And good governance means that we should have equitable development. And Western Kenya, and Nyanza in particular, has been missing on the count of development.
Okie dokes. When the president was meeting guys from Kisumu County, his wife, the First Lady Rachel Ruto, participated in the 7th edition of the MAC Foundation First Ladies Initiative held in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. The summit, convened by the MAC Foundation, brought together 14 First Ladies from Africa and Asia. MAC Foundation beneficiaries, development partners, and members of the media. The forum serves as a platform for First Ladies to discuss and collaborate on strategies to improve access to quality healthcare and promote girls' education in their respective countries.
First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, Her Excellency Mrs. Rachel Ruto.
It's a great honor to have all of you with us to achieve our objective of building healthcare capacity, supporting girls' education, and empowering women, especially the women who's living with infertility and living with the stigma of infertility. And being the ambassadors of More Than a Mother is a great achievement for these causes and to achieve these missions and vision. Thank you very much also for our partners and the dear guests and our alumni who joined us from all across 52 countries to be with us today to benefit from this educational program that are going to be held in parallel with this session and tomorrow as well. So really a great honor and great pleasure to have you all.
The Mark Foundation's education program, Educating Linda, currently supports 47 underprivileged yet high-performing Kenyan schoolgirls by offering full scholarships from secondary school until they graduate from college. I believe every girl in Kenya and across Africa deserves the opportunity to pursue her dreams, to see herself as a doctor, an engineer, a teacher, a scientist, a pastor, or any other profession she aspires to.
All right, let's take a look at the headlines, what they say about what is happening in our country. We are going to start with the Star newspaper, the Fresh, Independent and Different paper. It says, why Raila team is no longer at ease. You remember just before this, let you in on the meeting that the president had with leaders from Kisumu City. And you have a picture of it in the Star, excuse me. It says, guests, former Kisumu Central MP Ken Obura, ex-Kisumu Town West MP Olagol Aluoch, President William Ruto, Kisumu Town East, Shakir Shabil, Kisumu Governor Anyang' Nyong'o, and Senator Tom Ojenda, when the head of state hosted a delegation of Kisumu County leaders at State House, Nairobi, yesterday. You have the picture of them in what appears to be a hearty laugh. And then you have a picture of karaoke in ICU after medics remove bullet from his head. Then you have an insert there of the picture of the rogue cop, Constable Clinzy Baraza, who shot karaoke at close range. Boniface Karaoke, the face mask vendor. Basically, you can see him. At least they removed the bullet from him, and I'm glad he's not dead. Then the third page, Miracle Baby's pastor there dies in road accident. He died in a road accident. As in, if you see that SUV, hey, the thing has been crushed badly. Hey, that vehicle was crushed really badly. Either whichever, probably him or the other guy, one of them or both, were traveling at a high speed because that crash. Ooh. And then the Star in page 4 says broad-based implosion. And they give the reason why Raila Odinga's party and members are no longer at ease. And hence the reason why the president is having meetings, a lot of meetings with Luo Nyanza leaders, because if they're not at ease, then 2027 is at risk for him. Because without central Kenya, without eastern, without part of Nyanza, which is, you know, the Kisii Nyamira area, and he suffers a big, he's in between a rock and a hard place, because without those communities which gave him, and mostly so Mount Kenya gave him a huge support almost to the man in the last election, and he only won the election with 200,000, then he will need to get a huge number of people. He's hoping that the Luya nation, Mulembe nation, and the Luo nation are going to give him the push that he desires. State House delegation, how Ruto is plotting 2027 comeback. IPOA summons Lagat to record statement over Ojwang murder. Then you have pictures of some of the individuals who are harassed by the police. Then you go to the back page of the Star newspaper. You have pioneering female taekwondo master, Kahurani, eulogized. Oh, sorry, she died. Master Caroline Kahurani, who passed on in Nairobi last week, has been celebrated for her role as one of the most eminent pioneering female martial artists in Kenya. Wow. We give condolences to our family. Then we check out the Nation newspaper, the Daily Nation. It gives, the headline has how chaos was planned in the city. And then it gives you the pictures of the guys who basically planned. You remember those guys you saw in the streets with rungus? Those are the ones who are basically mobilized by, according to this, it has the picture of the governor, Sakaja. It has the picture of the National Police spokesperson, Michael Mushiri, and it says working hand in hand with goons. This is what he was responding to. It's the work of police to ensure criminal elements are treated contemptuously within the law. He's got good English. But don't forget, he's the one who told us that Ojwang hit his head on the wall. Then you have Korogosho MCA, a gentleman called Absalom Odhiambo Onyango. Governor Sakaja, this is what he had said. Governor Sakaja, form a youth group and pair them with police so that anyone who's trying to cause chaos is dealt with accordingly. This is what the MCA had said. And it looks that that's exactly what happened, right? Then you have Calvin Okoth. This is a guy who calls himself Gaucho. He says, I've seen online claims that I sponsored goons. I wasn't even in Kenya. I flew out for business. I support Raila Odinga. He's the only one who can direct me. All right. Then you have one of the goons who says we were paid to attack protesters in Nairobi. Boda riders who accepted the deal received a full tank of fuel and 2,000 shillings in cash. Hey, wase walipo, eh? Political leaders and mobilizers had earlier warned protesters demanding justice for Ojwang that they would meet resistance. By the way, today when I was coming to the office, I don't know whether there's planned demonstrations or what, because I saw a truck full of anti-riot police heading towards a certain direction. I'm just hoping there's nothing happening. And then you have the story of the Boniface Kariuki, the guy who was shot in town, the story of his father saying, I feared the worst when I watched the video of my son getting shot. Can you imagine? Put yourself in the shoes of that old man. Your son is out hawking or, doing his business. And then all of a sudden you hear there's a guy who's been shot. Hey. Then you take your phone and you scroll. And then you see police officers heading toward the gentleman. And your mind is telling you, see, that's what Kariuki was wearing today. Then you see his face. And you see how he's being beaten by the police. And then shortly, they kind of release him. And your heart is a little bit cooled. You breathe a sigh of relief. They've let him go. Only to see one of the officers turning and shooting your son in the head. Wow. That's a horror movie right there. That's a horror movie right there. And there are guys who looted, by the way, these goons who came with marungus. These guys who allegedly were paid by Sakaja and Akina Gaucho, all these guys. They broke into stores. There's one laptop shop that was nicked by these guys. In fact, I'm looking for a picture. If you have it, you can send it to me on Facebook of a police officer who was seen carrying laptops. He was seen carrying laptops out of this shop. Shame. Aki. The two officers, the nation says the two officers were arrested for shooting the hawker. And then you have lawyers, activists, and the Catholic Church criticizing police response to demonstrations. TVET's set to adopt new curriculum by January. Then there's Life and Times. Love him or hate him, he's a tale full of dare. I like the use of words there. Dares and dare. Oh. Tea farmers jittery over Iran-Israel war. You know what happens is that with the war in Israel, quite a number of things are happening. Iran, incidentally, is one of the biggest tea buyers. They buy a lot of tea from Kenya. And so because they do that, with the war going on right now, Kenyans are worried that their market is going to diminish. It definitely is diminished because now, iko maneno, you cannot, I'm told that nimetumiwa picha, the police officer akibeba laptop. Let me see. Really? Amebeba laptop ngapi? 1, 2, 3. And he's being received into the Land Rover ya polisi. Hey, surely. I know the government some time back had said it was going to supply, primary school with laptops. I doubt whether this is what this police officer is doing. Laptop tatu. Hey, Mama Kaya, this is crazy. I'll try and see whether my guy on the other side can get this and put it on screen so that ukiona unaweza jua that our police officers on that day, Mama Kaya, they were out to know for, yani, laptop tatu, alafu anapanda, it's the Land Cruiser. holding 3 laptops, as in Mbaka, he doesn't have strength to lift himself up to the Land Cruiser. I just wish using AI we can be able to show the face of this guy. Hey! 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 Okay, this is just funny. Yani, he stole laptops. There you have the picture. That's the police officer who stole laptops. If you can't just put it on full page on the screen, let's see whether we can have that picture on full screen so that that guy from wherever he is, anaweza jiona. And if you know this police officer, wherever he is, please sign his autograph. There you have. This is amazing. I'd love to hear what the National Police Service is going to say about this guy. I would love them to confirm whether he delivered this to the school program or where did he take this? Because we're still waiting for the laptops that our children were promised. Maybe here he is. You see that police officer? Amebeba laptops 3. Si amebeba, ameiba laptops 3. So, if this guy is sent to go arrest the people who stole laptops, what is he going to do? Eh? Shaila. There's one, I'm told, who took off with a television set. 2 of them. This story of paying to have your son go into the police force is going to cost us a lot of things, because there are people who pay. I mean, these guys are not qualified to be police officers, because the true police officers, the career police officers, it's a calling. They have it in their heart. I mean, it's the law. They are called to protect the law. Now, this one, hey. Okay, let's see what the National Police Service is going to say about that. Nawezi sema wamjui. The back page of the Nation, knock Paul's D-Day, too close to call. Shadrach Maluki, Francis Mutuko, neck and neck in the race for the big seat. Now, wacha tu niulize na msiseme ati mi the National Olympic Committee, we had, what was the name of the other guy who was in charge of football? It was Mwendwa, I think. Nick Mwendwa. Now in NOC, we have Shadrach Maluki and Francis Mutuku. I am not seeing any Kalenjins vying for these seats, yet it's the Kalenjins who basically run and get us these medals. I'm interested in the interest that Shadrach Maluki and Francis Mutuko have in this. I hope they've been athletes. They've represented the country they have interest in athletics. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Because if you have people who have no interest in athletics or in the Olympics, Sida Nico. Then Thug Boses. That's the headlines of the Standard newspaper. It says, and it gives us the pictures of the, in quotes, 2 thugs. That's the Inspector General of Police, Kanja. Then we have the Governor of Nairobi, Sakaja. And the newspaper says these 2 are thugs. excuse me. He says, when police march side by side with rungu-wielding goons on Nairobi streets who are coming from Governor Johnson Sakaja's City Hall office, some were wearing county t-shirts, the line between law enforcer and lawbreaker blurred to nothing. The so-called crackdown on protests morphed into a coordinated rampage, looting, assault, and destruction ran unchecked. Innocent Mwananchi bore the brunt as thugs beat them and vandalized property, all while Sakaja clung to his hollow protect businesses mantra. IG Kanja remains conspicuously silent, failing to condemn officers who protected the goons. The pictures of the goons are everywhere. All of them. The pictures of the goons are everywhere. So, including some of them being given alcohol before coming to beat up innocent victims. I hope the guy whose shop was broken into and looted off laptops can sue the city, the county rather, because these guys were sent by the county. Victims' families still grieving as traders struggles to recoup losses. And then how Gen Z used social media to mobilize and sustain resistance. How brain damage can change everything. And this, I think, they are bringing it in relation to the shooting of the Hoka karaoke. Of karaoke. They're trying to show that, when there's brain damage, life may not go back to normal unless you're very blessed. Kanja in a spot over brutality from the police. Rogue officers who shot Hoka arrested. Karaoke suffered severe brain injury. That's not a good terminology. When they said severe brain injury, severe, meaning quite a huge part of his brain was affected. Oh boy. Severe brain injury does not sound good. And I think that's the reason why the Standard newspaper, just before you read that, they show what happens in cases of brain damage. Then outrage over police shooting, state-sanctioned gang violence. That story continues, and then Lagat to shed light on Ojwang's killing. OCS, his deputy to remain in custody over blogger's death. And then, it's a very disturbing thing. There's a story here that police made no attempts to keep Ojwang alive after being beaten. They made no attempts. No attempts. Now let me say this. On Monday, I hosted a number of people during this show. And one of the gentlemen who comes from the opposition, from ODM, told us that during the protests, during the ODM protests or Azimio protests, there's a member of parliament, there's a senior official who was arrested and taken to one of the police stations. I'm not going to tell you which police station, but he was taken to a police station. And what happened around midnight or late in the night, there was a group of people who allegedly had been arrested in the streets of Nairobi, in the city streets. But this, according to him, were goons, just brought into the cell to terrorize this guy. They beat him up and sodomized him. I cannot give you the name of the guy because if I do, you will be shocked. So he was beaten, sodomized by these people. I mean, they take away your dignity. Completely rip it off, your dignity. And now you hear that police made absolutely no attempts to keep the life of Ojwang, to keep Ojwang alive. They made absolutely no attempt. After he was beaten and they could see that this guy was in a bad state, they didn't do anything. They did not call an ambulance. They just did nothing. Anyway. Then on page 9, hypocrisy from top politician exposed by police impunity. Hustler fund hit by 8 billion gap. PS blames process. Outrageous, Shah issues new letters to employees despite court order. Two Kenyan women stranded in Saudi Arabia plead for state help. Well, the state has been helping them to go to those countries. I believe the state should help them come back. MPs reject proposal. Oh, I loved this. MPs rejecting proposal to allow KRA to access phone, bank, private data. Hiyo mimi I support 100%. Liverpool face Bournemouth in EPL opener. Manchester United host Arsenal. You know, there's part of you that needs to remain private. If KRA had been given the right to access your phone, you have people who are accessing data, information that they should not have access to. You know, your private life is on your phone these days. So that simply means that they would have been given the right to access all your private data, all your information, and you don't know what they're going to use it for. Whoever is going to access the information, what they are going to use it for. So for me, I completely agree with the National Assembly refusing to give the Senate the right to access that information. That information is yours and should remain thus, right? Now, today is Thursday, and on every Thursday we have Your Faith Today. Today, Reverend Kavoy will be hosting some interesting singers, just worshiping and praising God for what He has done for us. At times, I don't know about you, do you at times get to a place where you feel like things are not moving as fast as I want them to move? And I remember one time, I know it's bad manners, but I remember one time I was expecting a number of things to go the way I wanted them to go. And they hadn't quite gone that direction as fast as I thought I should. And I stayed away. I didn't go to church that day. I decided I'm going to sit back and have a conversation with God. Just to tell Him, hapa kuna vyenye, hapa I don't like the way this is going. I don't like the way this is going. I like the way this is going. Just having a conversation, open conversation with God as your Father, telling Him, Lord, I am feeling tired. Lord, this, Lord, that. But at the same time, acknowledging, the interesting thing is this. When you argue with God, He does say, come and reason together. When you reason with Him, you already know that He's right. Because the scriptures say, let God be true and every man a liar, so that he can be proven right in everything he says, and that when he's judged, he can overcome. So when you're talking to Him, presenting your case, you just know, I know you're right. I do. I know you are 100% right in this case. But please allow me to just speak. so that I can express what I'm feeling. Because you know what? After all is said and done, there's nothing you can hide from him. You may be feeling like this, and you don't want to, put it before him. But remember, he sees it. There's nothing hidden from him. He knows. He sees what you're feeling. He knows what you're thinking, everything. So just tell him, talk to him, tell him, I'm feeling like you've left me. I know very well that you have not, because you said you'll never leave me nor forsake me. But this is what I'm feeling. What am I supposed to do? Just talk to him. You know the way you would go to your own dad and tell him, Dad, this is how I'm feeling. This is the situation. Give me advice on what I need to do concerning this situation. And he's going to do it. And when you ask him, believe that he's going to do it, because he does it. When you believe, he does it. I've had a situation whereby I had forgotten where I'd placed something, and I just asked him, Lord, where did I keep this? And your spirit is enlightened, and you immediately know where you had kept whatever it is you had misplaced. So talk to him as your dad. He cares about you. He really does. And it doesn't matter what's going on in the country. I can tell you that for sure. It doesn't matter. As long as you're in him, you're going to be okay. You're truly going to be okay. So don't feel discouraged. When that feeling comes, it's normal. Just speak out. Say what God has said concerning it. The Lord is going to take care of you. He's watching over you. He cares about you. By the way, did you know last night as you slept, he was just watching you. So impressed by the way you look and expressing beautiful thoughts about you. I'm not lying. He says, he does not sleep nor slumber. So when we sleep, he's watching over us. So I love that. So say those things to yourself, because you are very, very important to God. He really cares about you. He cared for you to death. That's why he died on the cross, right? So we're going to be building our faith together during the Your Faith show. And then at around 2 p.m., you have Manukato with DJ Show and Teddy. They'll be interviewing some pastors and musicians on the same. So have yourself a lovely morning.